Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Soul and Screen. This particular review is going to continue the conversation of soul ties as it pertains to the TV show Tyler Perry's Sistas, and we are discussing the characters Zach, Fatima, and the Karen situationship. More so, Karen in regards to what her being in this entangled in this soul tie is having her do, having her react to truth, even though she, to truth of situations and things. It's literally having her act outside of rationale and just normal, like even some of the stuff that she probably would normally do as a person, because one, she does not want to be out of this relationship, and two, she's in this soul tie, and the combination of them are making it difficult for her to let go, even though everyone is telling her that this relationship is over. So with that being said, let's get straight into it. I am picking up on one of my favorite Zach, Karen, and Fatima scenes. It is from season 4, episode 20, and kind of goes into 21 as well, where as I left off from the last video, I say that Karen is showing up at Zach's door to talk to him in regards to the baby. But let me take it just a little bit back, just a little bit to earlier in that evening where Karen was having a conversation with one of her best friends, which is Sabrina. Sabrina came to the store, to her shop, just to get her hair done, and her and Karen had this discussion where she basically was asking Karen how she's doing. Karen then went into a conversation like, saying that she just kind of doesn't understand what's going on with Zach. You know what I mean? Like she was saying, like, I just want him to get it together. Like he always does this. And Sabrina was like, Karen, people move on. And she's like, I'm telling you, he hasn't moved on. And so he just goes out, he does this crazy stuff, and then he comes back because he's mad. And so Sabrina asked her, do you think that that's kind of what you deserve? Do you deserve that type of treatment? And so she goes, I don't know. And she says that she doesn't know. All she knows is she really wants him to get it together and that she's missing him. And so Sabrina's like, Karen, come on. And she's just like, I'm just saying, like, Sabrina, like 3 years and then he gonna settle it with a check. And she says that because when Zach gave her the money, he was done with her. Like, if you want to take it back to a couple episodes when Zach told, where actually Karen was hunting down Zach because he had quit talking to her and everything. And she ended up going and talking to Danny, where Danny was like, hey, like, Zach, Karen's been trying to call you, why you not reaching out to her? And he's like, because I'm done. Like, I don't gotta call her. Well, like, what difference does it make? And she's like, come on. Danny is like, come on, Zach, like, it was 3 years. And he was like, I know it was 3 years. He was like, but I paid my debt and I'm out. I'm done. So it even shows that in Zach's mind, because Karen was always throwing money in his face and you don't have this, you don't help do this, he considered their relationship more transactional, meaning I owe you something. And now that he has the money to pay her and pay her back for everything that she did for him, and it sounds like he appreciates it, he gave the money back, but now he's truly done. And so she picks up the conversation again with Sabrina to go back there, and she's telling Sabrina, like, he's not done. He's just, he just still mad, and I really want to see him. And so she was like, Karen, please. And she's like, okay, don't worry about it. I'm not going to embarrass myself anymore, and I'm just going to leave it alone. And so fast forward a couple of hours or so after she finishes Sabrina's hair, she literally ends up at Zach and Fatima's house. Now, remember, I say Zach and Fatima because Zach earlier in the episode asked Fatima to move in with him, and he gave her a key, and he's like trying to build this life with Fatima. So it is their home. So she knocks on the door and Zach answers, and he's just like, what are you doing here? She's like, you not answering your phone and I need to talk. And he was like, can we talk tomorrow? And she's like, I need to talk now. And she looking at him all sad, with her, trying to, manipulate him by looking sad and sounding sad. And so she's like, he's like, well, what do you want to talk about? And she's like, well, can I come in? And he goes, no. And so he steps outside the door and walks out towards the porch, and she gets upset about that. And she's just like, so you live in my house for 3 years and I can't come inside yours? And he's like, whatever, he just don't feel like dealing with the drama. Like, what is it? And she looks at the house like, and then she goes, wait a minute, like, is she inside talking about Fatima? And he tells her, is she inside? And he goes, she is my woman, and she inside. So like I said, what you want? And she was like, I need to talk. And he's like, okay, what do you want to talk about? And she was like, really? Like, you really just moving in? Like, you live with this chick now? You moved this chick in and you living with her, somebody that you just met, but you won't let me see the house. And he goes, no. He goes, don't you got a man? Like, he's really kind of, again, solidifying, like, me and you not no couple. So yeah, I moved in with her. That's how serious I am with her. And no, you can't come in. And so she goes, anyway, I need to talk to you. And he's like, about what? And she's basically like, telling him that she wants him back. She's basically like, he asked her, don't you got a man? And she's like, no, Zach, I have you. And don't act like, you don't know how this goes. This happens all the time. And she's like, he's like, what happened all the time? And she's like, we fight, you leave, you do some stupid old stuff, and then you come back because I miss you. Okay. Like, I miss you. Are you happy now? Like, because again, she's still in her mind making herself believe that he's playing games with her. And she keeps saying, like, this is what you always do. But the truth of the matter is he's already operating differently from what he used to do when he was playing with her emotions and stuff like that. Meaning he's not, again, taking Fatima around, not trying to show up places where Karen is to rub Fatima in her face. He's literally staying away from her. He's not calling her. He's not showing up like Preston was doing. If you've watched a little further in the episode, like, Danny tells Preston, like, you can quit doing this Zach stuff. This is what he used to do with Karen. Well, Zach's not doing any of those things. He's being honest, but she still is just refusing to accept reason or truth or what she even is seeing. Like, her eyes are showing her that obviously he's not operating the same way that he used to. So her saying, this is what you normally do, this is how you do, it's not how he normally does. But she just wants to believe that, because at the end, if he is operating in that same way, she gets him back, and that's what she wants. So she continues to tell him, I miss you. So trying to get him to come back. And she's like, like, stop. Like, she keeps saying stuff like, we've had 3 years. It's after all this time we put in, like, stop with these games. Like, this is, we just basically put in too much time to give up on this relationship. And that may be how she thinks, but obviously it's not how he thinks, because first of all, he's trying to keep her from yelling and speaking loud because Fatima is in the house and he doesn't want her to hear what Karen is saying. But he also tells her, this ain't even you. Like, aren't you the one who was like, get your own money, I'm an independent woman and all that. So he's literally saying things that she would say to him in the heat of the moment and things like that. And he bringing it back to her. So this is, remember what you said? And she's like, I remember what I said. And he goes, okay. But he's also trying to tell her, like, he literally says, this ain't you. This ain't even how you move. You don't basically chase no dude down. You ain't never chased me down and all this kind of stuff. Like, you not acting like you. So he's literally telling her, again, now you acting out of character. So the stuff that you doing, I'm telling you this, I'm done with you and everything. But now you chasing after me, and this is not you. This is not who you have been in the past 3 years. This ain't you. Somehow Zach ends up manipulating the situation and doing something where they come back together. They get into each other. Why? Because he's going and showing up to her, restaurants that she goes to, enough so that it can spark some argument and get them back together. And that's not happening now. So he's literally telling her today, like, you are acting out of character. And that is, again, another evidence of a soul tie. Like, everybody is telling you, everybody is trying to explain to you, like, you not even acting like the normal person that you are. This is not you. you don't do this. But she refuses to hear. She is like still very adamant, like cut it out, like stop, just really trying to get him to hear. So here's the other thing, and I said this before in a previous episode, you can't talk somebody into wanting you. It just doesn't matter. If he's done, he's done. And there is nothing that you can do to make him come back or say to come back. When a person does not like a person or they don't want a person, it's just done. And the interesting thing is Aaron's doing it with her, right? Like she don't want Aaron and she knows this. The only thing is she's actually stringing Aaron along like Zach used to do her. But Zach is not doing what he used to do, once again, to her. He is really trying to build this relationship in life with Fatima, but Karen refuses to hear reason. So she's just continuing to try to, like, Zach, like, just enough. Like, how you gonna say that stuff to me? Like, I'm carrying your child. And he's like, I know you carrying it, and we gonna figure it out. And she like, we gonna figure it out. And then she goes, so you trying to tell me she gonna be a part of our lives, talking about Fatima. And he's like, she's like, yes or no. Answer my question. Is you saying she gonna be a part of our lives? Now let me put a pin here and say, so first off, ain't no a part of our lives. Like, one, he's building a life with Fatima. So if anything, you gonna be a part of their life. That baby has not been at this point confirmed to be Zach. So you really operating in the whole maybe situation again. So you being a part of their life, nah, that's not really how it's, you or she being a part of you guys' life is not how it is. It's more so the opposite way. And I think I would have written it to him for him to say that way, for him to say, no, Karen, you gonna be a part of our lives, because I don't plan on Fatima going nowhere. Like I told you, I'm going after her with my whole heart. And that's just, again, no shade to the writers. That's my little slogan, but that's how I would have written it. So she basically says, well, let's go talk to her. If she's going to be a part of our lives, then let's go in the house and talk about this. So she's still trying to get inside the house, and he grabs her arm, not hard or anything, not disrespectful. He's just like stopping her, like, we're not going in the house. Like, he is very adamant that, he is not going to allow her into Fatima's space. I do think this is a time where he was trying to keep Fatima out of this drama and deal with it himself, but it just continued to escalate. So she's just like, this is over. And he's like, yeah, this is over. And she was like, just really just kind of trying to get him to, tell me you don't love me then, Zach, that whole conversation. And he's like, Karen, I've told you. He was like, I do love you. But, and a lot of people were like, he needs to stop saying that he loved her and everything. But here's my thought on that. You don't really get to tell anybody how they feel. For years, the entire relationship, she's been calling him a liar. You can't tell the truth and all this kind of stuff. And now he's to the point where he wants to be honest enough where he says, I do still have love for you. I do love you. They just broke up not too long ago. Now he is falling in love with Fatima, and he tells her that he's in love with Fatima. I do love you. We just can't be together. And he's like telling her that he's in love with Fatima, but he loves her because why? They've had 3 years of a relationship with each other. So it's still fresh. So he's not completely just like, I don't love you no more. He's just being honest that the love is different. But he's like telling her, like, I told you I do love you, Karen, but I'm in love with Fatima. And so she's like, trying to get him again to manipulate the words and say what she wants him to say. But the truth of the matter is, once again, that I brought up in the last kind of episodes where she was trying to get him to say, tell me you don't love me and you don't want to be with me no more. And again, you don't get to make people say what you want them to say. He was being honest in the moment, which is saying, I do love you, but I'm in love with Fatima. And so he was trying to tell her that to get her to understand that because, she's trying to basically say that I know you love me. And he's admitting it. I do love you, but I'm in love with her. And so having love for someone and being in love with someone is not the same thing. And she knows better than that, but she refuses to listen. And so then she kind of gets to this point where she's just like, stop, Zach, just stop. And finally, he was like, what am I stopping? Like, I'm telling you the truth and all this. And then Fatima shows up on the balcony, and she's like, no, there's something that needs to stop. She was like, I'm coming down. So Fatima comes down, and Fatima is heated at this point, right? Like, because I've been trying to be cool with you. I've been playing nice with you. And even after you came to my job and went off on me about my man, you know what I'm saying? Then you tried to tell me, trying to throw shade at us by telling me he pregnant, which, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't your place. Now you want to show up at my house. And so she basically tells her, when she comes downstairs, she's like, what brings you by? And so Karen tried to have an attitude with her. She's like, Zach, obviously. And so, Fatima and Zach is like, like, we just about to go in the house. And Fatima like, nah, I heard what she said. Like, let her talk. She got something to say. Let her talk. And so she's like letting Fatima is letting Karen know she basically heard everything that she said. I heard you talking about, he just needs some time and then he gonna come back to you. And then she was like, yeah. She was like, you think so? She was like, yeah, you just a number, girl, you number 3 to be exact. And so Fatima was like, Zach, you better tell her. And so Zach literally looks at Fatima and he's like, baby, I've been trying to tell her. Like, he just want Fatima to know, like, I'm not playing games. I told this chick over and over again that we done, and she just not getting it. And so he looks at Karen and he's like, after he says baby to to Fatima, like, I've been telling her, he looks at Karen and he's like, Karen, she is not a number. And she is not going anywhere. If she was a number, she would be one of one. Can you please leave? Like, again, he's trying not to be hurtful and disrespectful. He is trying to consider that she's pregnant and things like that. But at the same time, he ain't trying to let Karen blow up his spot in his relationship with Fatima. So he was like, can you leave? And so Fatima, she like kind of looks at Fatima and like walks up a little bit, and Fatima kind of steps to her a little bit too. And she's like, I guess I'll go. And then Fatima like, yeah, then you need to just go ahead and go. But let me put a pin here. I don't know where you think you got a choice, because I honestly would have had her, Fatima, say, yeah, you saying that like you got a choice. You leaving here one way or the other. So you can either leave on your own, or if we have to get a restraining order, I bet you won't be showing up to this house again. Because in all honesty, until we know for sure that this is his baby, you ain't got no reason to be just popping up at this house and stuff. So I think they definitely gave Karen too much leeway. And while they had Fatima being very respectful, I also think they played it a little too safe and had her way too passive. It's to me, in my opinion. And I say that because I actually know people who kind of like Fatima, who like family is deep like into some stuff, and then you know what I mean, but you were brought up in a really healthy kind of situation and things like that. So you've got a little hood in you, but you also know how to maintain your classiness and, be ladylike and stuff like that. So I still feel like Fatima would have or should have came a little bit more stronger in her responses to Karen. But again, she was being nice and trying to respect the fact that she's Andy's friend and Zach's ex, and she's pregnant. So I do see that. So anyway, Karen finally leaves, and Karen ends up going over to Andy's house, and she's like, Andy, she goes into Andy's house, and Andy's like, what's the matter? Because Karen is in tears. She's crying, and she's just like, and then Andy goes, oh, so you went over Zach? And she's like, she told you, meaning like, did Fatima call you? And she goes, no, I'm just looking at you. And she was like, I went over there and it's been 3 years. All the money that I've put in him, all his stupid ideas that I supported him with. And let me just put another pin. Is it really support if you calling his ideas stupid? You know what I'm saying? So anyway, then she basically goes off like he building this house for some random bee and all this kind of stuff. And then she tells Andy, enough, like you better not start defending her because you're supposed to be like my friend. And so anyway, I'll end it pretty much there. As I said, that was one of my favorite scenes with Zach, Fatima, and Karen. So go ahead and feel free to like, share, and subscribe if you are enjoying these reviews and breakdowns. And tell me, what do you think? Next question, I guess, would be, do you think that Karen had the right to show up at their house and demand like a conversation with Zach. And do you think, like, how do you think Fatima handled it? I mean, the writers wrote it one way. Do you agree with the way that she handled it, or would you have went in just a little bit deeper, like I said? So just kind of let me know your thoughts. I would love to hear it. And I will definitely talk with you guys next episode on Soul and Screen. Bye.